What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we're here today with another episode of Eador, Masters of the Broken World. So where we had left off, we were kind of running through and we were figuring out some of the early game concerns that we wanted to handle. First and foremost was getting ourselves an army, which if we take a look at our Hire Troops tab here, we have ourselves pretty much the only A team we're going to have for the early game. Now, there are a few modifications I'd like to make to this team. Namely, I'd like to get another extra command slot and possibly put in a spearman or something of that nature. Somebody that can hold a pass or just hold a location for an indefinite amount of time, and I can just keep healing him just in case we end up getting into a combat where they're able to bum rush us a lot quicker than we would like them to be able to. The other concern for the early game is that you really want to take over the rings surrounding your city. Having done that, I think we're in a reasonably good spot, although we do have some problems with unrest that we are going to have to address in the future. For now, I did want to take a look. In the last episode, we got ourselves a library built, and the library is going to allow us to equip some spells. And so if you go down here to your magic tab, or you can hit the L key, you'll see that in our first circle right here, our level 1 magic, we've got some things unlocked. Now, these are the cantrips that we had talked about earlier. The baseline spells, Magic Spark is basically Magic Missile, just a weaker version. It's not that great, it doesn't cost you any crystals, but it does at least inflict some damage in case you run out of ammo and your melee attack is not satisfactory. However, the plan that we've been working towards is getting ourselves a workable docket, I guess, is how I would describe it. A workable docket of magic spells that our hero can support his troops with. So having had that now, let's go ahead and equip ourselves with Cure. And I think I'm going to give myself 3 copies of Cure, and you can only cast these once per battle. So if you've got 3 of them, that means I can cast 3 times per battle. The casting cost on these is 2 gems and a stamina. Not too bad at all. And then the final thing that I'd like to put in is let's take a look at Bless really quickly. Bless allows us to increase our attack and defense attributes by 1. I think I'll take 1 of those just in case we have somebody that they can't falter. Just in case we have a unit that really needs to hold their position, we want to have them just kind of beefcaked out as best as we possibly can. We've got a couple heals to throw at him. Although our character is a damage dealer, we want to make sure that at least we have a little bit of utility on board as we go forward, because the fights are going to get nastier. Now at this point, we've got a nice little supply of gold. We're getting enough gold per turn, and we have a full army to where we know that this money that we're earning right here isn't going anywhere. We're actually paying a full troop's wage. We've got guards set up in certain areas. Let's take a look at this. This is the Pixie Woods. Okay, so we've got a little bit until they rebel on us, and we're going to have to suppress that after a while. But some of the things we want to look at now are the second outer ring. What can we conquer there? Well, this Orcish tribe right here in the Outlooker Hills is looking very, very tempting because they have iron. That iron is going to supply us with extra gold per turn, and plus it's going to allow us to produce units such as the Knights and the Spearmen, not Spearmen, I'm sorry. It allows us to do Pikemen, it allows us to do Swordsmen, it allows us to do Crossbowmen, I believe. You have to have iron to do everything more than like a basic unit though, so we're going to bear that in mind as we get ourselves kind of hitched up with a plan. Right here we've got Centaurs in Oakheap. This is pretty much inaccessible. We're going to pretend this doesn't exist, because Centaurs are one of the hardest units in the game to fight with before endgame. They're pretty tough. They're a nasty little group of critters. Over here we've got Lizardmen and Kaihashasasasmanas, and they're not going to be too bad. And also over here in the Swelling Lands, we've got Mandrakes. Now, Mandrakes are pretty useful. We can sell those, and they do fuel some of our higher level magical units, as well as allowing us to, I believe, unlock certain spells. Don't quote me on that one, though. But now that we've gotten our library out of the way, let's consider what other magic spells we'd like to unlock. Obviously, I would very much like, I think my second hero is probably going to be a wizard, and I believe what I'm going to do then is I'm going to focus on getting ourselves some magic spells that he can kind of throw around. We're going to go with the School of Wizardry, which is going to give us Magic Arrow, which deals 8 damage plus spell power, Magic Armor, and Magical Weapons. Additionally, it gives us Enchanted Coffer. Enchanted Coffer is a enchantment that we can put on a certain area of our kingdom, so a certain hex, and it lowers their happiness by 1 tick, but if they're super happy, this is a nice spell to dig yourself out, because it gives you gold based on their population. So in essence, it allows you to just conjure money out of thin air at the cost of 1 happiness in one of your lands, which can be very, very good if you're low on funds and you just have to like churn out some units right now or something of that nature. So let's go with Sorcery. That's going to cost us 227 gold. A nice little grip. We're going to leave ourselves safely at 400 for now, but after that, I think what we're going to consider doing is either taking a look at our trade quarter and seeing how much money we can make, Like, it might be worthwhile getting ourselves an inn, because then we can hire adventurers who are a very, very good provincial guard. They allow us to hire one group of adventurers, and I might consider actually swapping out the foresters that we have here in Pixie Woods for some adventurers, because this area is going to be rebelling quite a bit, and we really want to make sure that they don't get out of our control, because then we've got to reconquer them, and then they get even more grumpy, and the whole thing just turns into a mess. So what I'd prefer in the first place is that we actually just kind of shore this up in the long run. Let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to make a swing. Yeah, nothing's overpopulated, so let's go take a look at the swelling. Actually, no, we're going to do the orcs. I know we can handle the orcs for now, as long as they don't have trolls or anything on hand. And let's get that iron locked down, because we are going to want to get some mid-level units going, and without that iron, that's just simply not going to be an option. Now, our mobility is working out pretty well for us. Wow, 10 units. That's going to be... we could be a little overwhelmed here. 10 units split between goblins and orcs. The orcs aren't so bad, but as you can see, it pretty much exponentially gets worse the further you get from your capital. So the second ring... let's take a chance on it. 10 is a rough fight. I'm not positive we're going to be able to bang this one out, but we are going to give it our college best. We do have healing spells, so I think maybe in the greater scheme of things it won't turn out so bad for us. We do get the first attack, which is a nice little boon here, and we're going to start killing off goblins, because we can one-shot them with the silver arrows that we picked up in the last turn. Neighboring units are going to lose a little bit of morale. I don't really want to curse anything for now. We're going to let them come to us. They have no ranged capabilities whatsoever, so we just want to leave them as victims. As many of them dead in the dirt as possible is really what we want to aim for at this point. Once they're close enough to where we've run out of arrows, because we only have 5 ammo left anyways, which at the most kills off 5 of these guys, if we're very, very lucky. Our shamans are able to actually sling some spells around, so we're going to have them do that as well. Once these units close in a little bit closer, we'll have them fall back, and we're going to kind of pan around as best as possible with these 2 barbarians. I know we don't have the melee troop outlook that I would very much like to have at this point, but we do have something that's going to allow us to survive, hopefully. Let's see what we've got going on here. Based on the troop movements... Alright, so I do want him gone, so let's make sure we get that goblin. 5 more damage there, 5 more damage there. And I think we'll be able to shore up as many of these guys as possible before they get close. I do think we'll be okay. We are playing a very ranged heavy unit configuration, so we want to be careful as things go through. Let me make sure, can she kill him? She can. Very nice, but they're almost out of ammo, so all things to consider. He's down now, and then what I would like to do is let's go ahead and move the barbarians a little bit. Beyond that, he's got, how much ammo? 4? They've only got 1 ammo left. So this is getting a little hairy already. Let's put another arrow on the goblins. I'd just like to have the numbers at least even if we can. So 4 versus 5 now. I think we're in a good spot. We'll probably have no problem steamrolling this place, and the iron will be put to very, very good use. Let's see here. I'm a little tempted. Let's go ahead and make sure that this guy, this orc right here, goes down. Because if he closes ranks with... ooh, we can throw an axe at him. Let's do that. So axes away. Now that he's been taken care of, let's consider putting a couple magical bolts on this guy. That's going to be the last of their ranged ammo, so they're now completely useless. They can do a little bit... actually, I think they have like a rest or something like that that'll regenerate some of their ammunition, but don't quote me on it. That's one of those situations now where my in-game knowledge is faltering. Let's throw an axe and see if we can get rid of him. Nope, no such luck, but he is quite wounded, so the damage he's going to deal won't be as bad as it would have been. It's still going to hurt, believe me. Oh, 3 damage, that's not so bad. We can take that. Then with the counterattack, we've gone ahead and put him out of commission. I'm going to go ahead and shoot an arrow at this gent right here. Let's go ahead and have both of them rest. And I believe once a unit rests, it's out for the remainder of the combat, I think. I'll have to look that up in between episodes because I don't use rest very often. I'm kind of just doing it to show you that you can do it. I know it restores a little bit of health and it does something else, but well, maybe it's just stamina that it restores. But that was a flawless victory. That's very nice for us, and that's a pretty good butcher's bill right there, all things considered. We were able to sneak on out of that combat without losing a finger or any other nasty little bit of our appendages. And so now we've got the ability to take a look and level up our hunter or our scout. He can get reaction, which is going to increase our initiative, increase our chances of going first. He can take diplomacy, which increases our quest rewards and gives additional opportunities while out and about during negotiations. or we can take archery, which is going to give us armor piercing, and we're definitely going to take that. So let's go ahead and take the second armor piercing so that once we get into the next tier of enemy units, our arrows are still going to be dealing damage in a satisfactory manner. Our barbarians are starting to reach mid-game, and so they've actually got the ability to increase their ranged attack or their stamina. I'm going to take ranged attack so that when they throw those axes, we get a little bit more mileage out of them. And then the shamans have leveled up as well. We can take counterattack or resistance. I'm going to take resistance, because counterattack is not something I don't plan on ever having anyone close enough to actually take a swing at my shamans. Now, that level up we got for HP is not completely satisfactory, and we do have some more, it's a little disappointing. We've got a bit more unhappiness, and we are going to have to figure out a way to make everybody kind of buck up. Buck up, dear old conquered chums. It's not so bad, and I think we're going to do that by means of getting the tavern rolling. So let's take a look at the trade quarter. And if we have, not the tavern, I'm sorry, the inn. If we look at the second tier tab right here, there's an inn. And the inn allows us to build a pub, which makes everybody happier by getting them nice and sauced. So we're going to take that for now. It's also going to increase our income a little bit. It's also going to give us our first adventurer contract. They're cheap, they have a low upkeep, and they're amazingly powerful. It's got elves, it's got archers, it's got dwarves. You get a loose motley assortment of ass kickers when you sign up with heroes, and that's definitely something I'd like to have on hand. I think we're okay for now. Let's consider, actually, let's take a look at the locations. They've got winged creatures. Let's take a bit of time and explore a tad. What I might consider doing is going down in here and destroying some more barbarians. While exploring the province of Outlooker Hills, the hero Slit met the Spirit of Knowledge. By communicating with this wise creature, the hero has gained invaluable experience. Very cool. That's going to advance him a little bit towards his next level. 38% exploration is perfectly fine for me right now. We do want to consider putting a mine in so that we can get some extra cash from this location. Let's put in a pub as well. Oh, we can only build one provincial upgrade per turn. That's right. So let's go down here and let's see what we can do for the Pixie Woods. I think we get a bonus to their happiness if we kill bandits, and I know for a fact there was a bandit camp down here, so while we're kind of recuperating a little bit of cash, I'd like to at least get their happiness shored away a tad so that the pubs will take care of business. What I'd like to think about now is possibly, well, there's not a whole lot of things here that I'd like to get built, but in the tier 1 of our magic, I think I would like to get that taken care of so that when we get our next hero, the mage, he'll be up and ready to get as many spells on board and deal a ton of damage and just level up as quickly as possible, because 2 heroes is far better than 1, or are far better than 1. Let's go ahead and we're going to build ourselves the School of Sorcery, because it gives us Extravaganza, which is a spell that increases the population mood by 1 for 10 turns, and we can just spam that over and over and over again until we get ourselves taken care of. I'm a little bit torn whether I want to take Necromancy or possibly Sphere of Winds right now. Sphere of Winds has a lot of nice things, but it's a little bit limited in its use because I tend to fill in with buffs only where I can. Now, Necromancy has the added sort of buff of allowing you to get some really cool units in the endgame, like ghouls, which make enemies sick and poison them just by being next to them. Very powerful unit that's going to be unlocked through Necromancy, but that does give us evil points, which can lock us out of certain choices later on. For now, I'm going to table it, I think. We'll think about that in the long run. We have the show booth here, which is going to increase the population mood. Not a big thing to think about, but it does move us down the chain to arenas and theaters, which we can use on other areas. Other things we haven't really looked at. We haven't looked at the tier 1 of our town councils or our upgrades there. We might want to think about maybe getting some pikemen. Might be a cool upgrade. We can construct that in the turn after for 110, so I think we'll take that for now. And I believe that's going to leave me right where I'd like to be. Let me see what I can do with Extravaganza right here. Okay, so they are actually on the edge of discontent. It's going to take us a little bit of work, but I think we can get them set up. So let's get them a pub built, and once that's up and ready to go, I think we can even these guys out. I really do. We might be able to fire the foresters and put in some pixies here, maybe something of that nature, but for now, let's think about visiting a location and taking care of some of these brigands. So bypassing that, we've got brigands, thieves, and bowmen. It's not going to be anything rough. It's just 4 units. In fact, we could probably auto-resolve this one, but I am one of those people that just can't stand auto-resolve. It tends to be a very risky exchange for us. This bowman shouldn't be able to hit us until he takes a step forward, so I'm going to take a risk right there. Okay, so he did take a step forward and he did take a shot at us. It's all good, though. It is all good in the fantasy hood. So they're all down. I'm going to try and resolve this as quickly as possible. There's really no point pulling a John Madden here and just talking about what I'm doing. We're just gonna... It's not a combat that's really worth our attention, so down they go. And we've managed to clear out the province. And we've leveled up with another bit of command. Considering we're going to be unlocking pikemen, that's very, very good. So we can pick between a diplomacy, which we've talked about that already, scouting, or reaction time. I believe I'm going to take... Let's take the initiative and the ranged defense. I like that as a choice, so that's going to give us a bit more. Not much cash there. Let's see if that helped us out with our diplomacy. We're going to construct the pikemen. Okay, so it didn't, actually. Let's go to our units here. Oh, did I not? Maybe I didn't do the proper construction to get our hands on pixies. Let's look and see. I believe they're right here. Yeah, they're in the Enchanted Grove, which is getting a little bit expensive. I'm not willing to spend 280 gold right now. We've only got 341, so let's just hang tight for the time being. And this province is not that explored, so we're just going to explore it anyways. Get a little bit of work done there and see how it goes. Slit has returned from the trip. We haven't found any new locations, but we did unlock a bit more of the province. I'm going to consider spending some... Oh, Extravaganza's got a reasonably long cooldown. And we've got to go over here. They're actually hitting their overpopulation. That's all fine and dandy. I think we'll be okay if we swing through here. We get a little bit of exploration done. Oh, and we've got an event. A bright rainbow has appeared in the sky over the province of Whitestone. The priests say it's a good omen that promises luck. The magicians claim a rainbow often appears over lands rich in magic energy, so it makes sense to perform the ritual to search for the source of magic before the rainbow vanishes. We've got 3 options here. We've got a team to send for treasure. We've got a Festival of Good Luck, which probably just increases their happiness. We've also got the Magic Ritual, and I'm a little worried that that's going to backfire on us. So let's go with the Good Luck Festival. And it seems as though the people in the province of the Whitestone have started to celebrate the festival with delight, although not all of them believe that the rainbow brings good luck, an additional reason to idle makes everyone happy for a while. And as you can see, they're about as happy as they can be. They're happy as clams, although I never understood why clams were happy. Clams seem to end up in ye old dinner pot quite frequently. I wouldn't be happy if I was a clam. Plus, they have like no sensory organs. They spend all their time trapped up in that little chitin shell. Doesn't seem like they have a very happy existence. They eat dirt. I mean, the point at which you're eating dirt, you know. And this has actually contented them out that we've taken care of that for them. So that's going to work out for us very well in the long run. Let's go ahead and give them another exploration here just so we can get them built up. Their current... Ooh, we've got a abandoned temple. Let's examine it. It's got swordsmen, healers, and monks, but there's only 4 of them, so I think we're going to go ahead and take that combat, as this location could provide us with some extra treasure. We're a little low on gold at the moment, and everything in this game you should be taking care of with respects to how much cash you have. You always want to keep yourself financially taken care of, so if there's an option that gives you gold in the early game, you always want to take it, because gold is key. Later on, it's not so important, but I'm killing the healer right here. You'll remember in an earlier episode, I told you always want to kill healers and casters as early on as possible. They do have some tier 1... Oh, they have a tier 2 unit. A monk, it looks like. We're going to take care of him. Let's go ahead and move them forward so that they can take a swat at somebody in the next turn. We do want to keep them leveling up as much as possible. Hopefully he doesn't kill that swordsman right there. His weapon has failed him, so we are going to have to go repair. Down goes the swordsman. Let's go ahead and maybe we'll bring some of our barbarians down here. I'm giving my casters a bit of precedence just because... Oh, never mind. I accidentally shot with my scout. Unfortunate. Let's give this one in the back a firing. There we are. And so they should get some XP. Maybe they'll level up on this combat. I can't guarantee it. But I'd like to get them up to level 4 or 5. Our barbarian leveled up from the shared experience. I almost said the shaved experience. He doesn't look like he's had a shaved experience ever. But anyways, he can get ranged attack or morale. I'm going to take ranged attack. Shaman has leveled up and can take morale or counterattack. That's a pretty piss poor... I don't like that choice. Let's take morale, I suppose. We've gotten the tanned leather jacket, which we can actually equip on our character. It gives us 2 defense rather than 1. It's better than the light leather jacket than we were packing before. And it's also got a nice little furry pimpin' collar, so if you're trying to make your living out on the corner, kind of directing ladies of the night around, it'll give you added respect. Now, we weren't able to explore much in that last turn. It looks like they're at village. I'd prefer for them to upgrade to the next and give us a little bit more gold. They're happy for the time being, though. I'm going to step away and let's get ourselves some gear. We'll buy ourselves some units because we do have that pikeman unlocked. That's probably an astute use of our time for now. The deputy of the province of Muddy Waters informs you that a hero called the Vanquisher of Trolls has turned up in their land. He had recently found a troll lair in their province and cleared it out. The people say he has obtained great spoils. The Vanquisher of Trolls has 5 backpacks crammed full of goods. We can force him to give us half the spoils because in this game, in the lore, that is the law. Any hero has to give you half the spoils from their adventures. We can convey thanks or bless him. Let's bless him. The hero is touched by your gesture and asks you to accept 400 gold coins from his spoils as a sign of gratitude. Well, we can... This was in Muddy Waters. They're not very happy. Actually, yeah, they are. They're happy. Or at least they look happy right now. We'll take it to the treasury. So, we did have an option there to redistribute the gold and kind of pull a little communist, kind of give everybody away the gold. Actually, I wouldn't call it communist. I would call it astute use of treasure that wasn't mine to begin with. But we could have redistributed it. Would have made them very, very happy in the long term. But what I like here is if you take a look, everybody all around us is pretty happy. Whereas at the beginning of this episode, we had borderline rebellion on hand. So, we have done a pretty good job at pacifying everybody for the time being. We do have some exploration to do. Let's go ahead and jump into the store, repair our gear. I'm more than willing to think that there's probably the silver arrows that broke because those are not so robust. They're not very good at taking damage. We'll put the leather coat in there just in case we ever end up with anybody that can use it. Mostly just keeping our backpack clean though. And kind of putting things in the treasury in our shared bag space. Let's take a look at our hero hiring. It's going to cost us 500 to get a wizard right now. That's a little bit outside my resources for the time. Well, it's not really. We got that 400 gold from that hero. Let's hire ourselves a pikeman first and foremost. There he is. He gets a -2 to his morale, though, because he's in a group of evildoers. So we want to, in the future, sort of get a few more good guys, I guess would be a astute way to pack out our revenue. Now, they're pretty happy. I don't know what I want to do over here, but let's take a look at our construction queue and see what we've got going on. Because we've got gold, I'm interested in getting ourselves even more gold while the time permits. So let's give ourselves a farmer's market. It allows us to build a mill in our plains provinces, which we don't have any right now. But it will also increase our capital growth, which means we make more money in the long term. Other things we might consider queuing up is we've got one last unit left before we can move on to tier 2. Now, in order to move from one tier to the next, we do have to build a fort in our home location, and that has the added benefit of making our capital a harder nut to crack as we start taking a little bit of those invasions in the future. I think what we should probably do is take swordsmen, just in case we need beefier, more robust troops. Swordsmen are very slow, but they can dish it out and they can take it. They're a very nice unit to have on hand, plus it helps us even out our karma a tad. Never a bad thing in the greater scheme of things. Other things that we might consider queuing up. Let's see here. We've got watchtowers. These are unlimited units right here. I'm sorry. Do I want to look at that right now? Well, maybe. If we had taken slingers, we could take the watchtower. We don't have slingers. We don't have archers, so we can't take the shooting ground. We can, however, take the Warriors Guild because we've got pikemen. The Warriors Guild is very nice because it gives us patrolmen, which lower the unrest rate in any place that they're stationed by 2, and they are amazing in combat. So these guys are just great all around until mid-game. We might consider mashing out one of these, but we do need an armory. What's it going to cost us to get an armory? 168. The armory is also going to give us some cooler equipment in our capital. It's probably not going to see much use, and it does act as the prerequisite for a lot of other things that we can run through here. A mercenaries guild and things of that nature. So we'll queue that up, or we'll queue that up for the 3rd turn. Taking a look around, I don't really know where I want to station myself right now, but I think it's probably going to be in our best interest to go ahead and move to Buy Place and maybe get our exploration done a tad. Give ourselves some adventuring locations. We are going to continue the construction of all those things at our home province. And let's do some exploration for the time being. Hopefully we'll find some unique locations. We explored 4%, that puts us at a nice 32. A small dwarven clan offers you their services as protectors for the province of Outlooker Hills. For their work, they're asking an immediate payment of 100 gold and the wages of 15 gold. We're going to, hire them. Definitely hire them. Dwarves are amazing combatants, and that's just another province that I don't have to pay attention to for the time being. Considering we've entered a time of prosperity for our kingdom, we're getting enough gold. I prefer to keep more than 50 gold per turn is a pretty safe place to be, and if you round up, that's where we're at. And they're going to be able to hold off any rebellions just in case we can't address this location in the time allotted. Let's keep passing some turns here. He's managed to explore 4% more. I think I'm going to take them up to maybe 45%. I think is a good safe spot to be, and then we'll move to the next location over off to the side. We'll get them up to 45%. Let's look at our construction queue. We can build the fort right now, which will give us instant access to everything in the second tier. Not a bad choice, but I think what I'm going to take is the Warriors Guild. Let's take that. It's going to give us +1 to our karma. It gives us 10 XP to all of our recruits. It gives us access to the Officers Academy later on, which gives us guardsmen who are a massive threat to even the most powerful of units that could assail us. We're at 500 gold for the time being. Let's see what kind of upgrades we can throw around in other provinces. We can do a pub or a granary. Let's hold off on the granary for now, because when they hit level 4, they're going to go ahead and hit overpopulation. We don't want them to be growing out of control. Let me see if I can drop this right here. Go away. There we are. In this location, we can build a pub or a mine. Considering we're going to have guardsmen pretty soon, I'm not going to worry too much about provincial upgrades that deal with happiness for now. Centaur lands, I do wish that those weren't there, but for the time being, we're going to have to deal with the fact that they're just going to continue existing, and there's not much that we can do about it. With this turn right here, we've uncovered a primeval thicket. This could be any number of things. 3 centaurs. That's a nasty fight, and it's tempting because there's not very many of them. Let's take it. We're going to take it and hope for the best. Just to test and see, I'd like to see how it's going to go for those centaurs that are up above us. Having everyone fall back on this one. Centaurs have incredible movement. That's their big boost, is that they can move halfway across the map in one turn. We are getting the first move here, which is nice. He's on a hill, which means I might have to advance towards him. Not something I relish the thought of doing, but we can take a 13 damage shot at him. Let's take a look at the centaur stats so you have a rough feeling for how nasty these guys can be. They've got reasonable HP, they've got recuperation, which means they get stamina back while they rest. They've also got forest knowledge 8, which is just like, wow, they can just haul ass through forests. Additionally, their ranged attack is a 7, which can hurt you quite a bit, considering we have units that only have 8 HP or so. You want to be very careful with centaurs, and you see how he just closed with me instantaneously? We want to watch out for that in the greater scheme of things. They treat forests like they're not even there. In fact, we may lose this barbarian. And in fact, we did. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. We want to be careful about these centaurs. We really, really do. See what kind of hurt we can put on this guy. And he is down. Let's put as much damage as we can on units off to our sides. And then we're going to have our pikemen step over to here. It's okay. We can replace... You know, we need to step into the middle game pretty soon, so these barbarians were probably going to go away in the greater scheme of things anyways. He's going to take a shot at a shaman. Nasty, nasty, nasty. So we may actually lose some experienced troops here. I went against my better judgment here and decided to fight some centaurs, and we are going to pay for it. Unfortunately, we are definitely going to pay for my indiscretion. So let's go ahead and take a range shot at him. Step the shaman forward. He can't move for now. Ooh, and yeah, so we lost. God, not a fun fight for us. I don't like the results of this combat. We have to live with him, though. And why is he trapped where he's at? Is he out of stamina or morale or something? Oh, I think that might actually be like a bog or something right there. Let's take a swing at this guy. We'll step back with our archer. Take a shot. We may kill this guy off. That's going to make space for our lancer or our pikeman, who's absolutely going to be able to lay him low. So in the last little bit of this, that was a little more expensive than I would like, but we did get some XP on our... It's rough. We'll replace one of the barbarians with another pikeman, and we'll replace both those shamans. In the long scheme of things, this probably cost us a bit more money than we would like. Our horsey equestrian friends there managed to do a bit of damage. We're going to take reaction 3 there. We got a mass slow and 300 gold, so we can pay for the losses that we took right there. Not the best use of our time. I should have stuck to my guns and not messed with centaurs. We'll take it, though. We'll take it. So now back in the capital. As I said, you saw them grow right there, and they've now become overpopulated. Let's grab ourselves some new units before we go any further. We're going to want to take another pikeman. There he is. Oh, that's not what I want. Let's take another pikeman, 35. We're going to take 2 of these guys right here to replace. And so we came out on top with like, 190 gold or so and an extra scroll, which we can get rid of for 86. gold. I'm probably not going to use spell scrolls too frequently. I'm not a big fan of them. They're not something that I tend to fall back on too frequently. It's alright, though. Let's take a moment out. And possibly, is Fanfare back up? Or Extravaganza? Let's take Extravaganza. We'll cast it back on them. Let's take a look. Did I get my guardsmen up? I did. So let's hire patrolmen in this location. It already has guards. We want to banish the forest guards. And with 2 extra, that puts them to discontent. Not so bad. All things considered, it's very, very difficult to even out grumpy people in this game. They tend to be grumpy, stay grumpy, and cause you all kinds of problems. Let's run back out to Oknir Douche. And let's handle their lack of space. The lawyers are looking a little too happy. Scouts in the province of Outlooker Hills report that ancient ruins are infested with some creatures. Got it. There's an influx of traders to the province of Byplace and massive sales are incoming. According to a tradition, much of the trade income makes its way to the treasury eventually in the form of bribes and presents. What are your orders? Well, we don't want to take people into custody. We're going to legalize the sales for these bribes, and that's going to make everybody in Byplace a lot happier. Additionally, merchants are delighted with your decision. Such respect for their customs makes the presents to your officials especially generous. Thanks to the numerous bribes and gifts, we've made almost 900 gold. Great, so we're going to take that, and we've got stacks of cash. Let's get ourselves going on the construction. We're going to build ourselves a fort, because it's very, very expensive. And if you look here, there is a roadblock. There's a choke point. You have to unlock 4 units of this rank in order to do the fort. So the fort's going to be done next turn, which is going to allow us access to a lot of the things in the second tier. Taking into consideration, we can do guardsmen. They are very cool. If we take a look at guardsmen here, let's have a look-see at what they can take care of. Just do a quick run. 23 HP. A massive amount of stamina. They hit hard. They counterattack even harder. They have recuperation. Their strikes are armor piercing. They have a massive amount of ranged defense, meaning you cannot hurt them with arrows. Their only true weakness is magic. Everything else they're pretty much strong against. Other things to think about. The monks here, very good unit. This is a powerful unit. They come with a heal. They have magic shot, which is the same thing that our shamans have. So if at this point we wanted to cut for a good build where we're all lawful, this would be the time to do it. We would take monks, we would get rid of all of our shamans, we would take swordsmen, we would take pikemen, and we would keep ourselves on the straight and narrow. For now, I'm just going to think about what we want to do, close this off, and this is a great place to break off this episode. My name is Splattercat. Thank you very much for joining me here in the Nerd Castle for our future episodes, I hope, and for this episode. I'm having a blast with Eador. You can expect this one to probably run reasonably long. I wouldn't say more than 10 to 15 episodes. It depends when our enemies decide to rally out against us. We are playing on a small map, so this one's duration is going to be a bit shorter than you would expect. I'll see you guys next time, and take care out there, everybody.